Right, good evening. I'm Bobby back with you. We're going to deal today with the topic of algae, right? That's algae, as I told you once again. The word algae was coined by Linnaeus in 1753. The branch of botany dealing with the study of algae is called as phycology or algology. Term phycology is derived from Greek word phykos, which means algae or seaweed. Algae are defined as chlorophyllous, thalloid avascular plants with no cellular differentiation. A plant body that is not differentiated into root, stem, and leaf is known as thallus. Algae contains about 18,000 genera and 29,000 species. Structure and reproduction of algae was written by Fish. He is known as father of algae. Fish divided algae into 11 classes on the basis of types of pigments, nature of reserve food material, and mode of reproduction. So here we have a table of major 11 classes of algae, right? So the names included the class, major photosynthesis pigments, reserve food material, number of flagella, and their arrangements are herein being explained. Chlorophyll is the first, with chlorophyll A and beta plus carotenoids and xanthophyll as pigments. True starch and sugar as reserve food material. Vegetative or gamete cells with 2 or 4 equal flagellae. Xanthophylls and beta-carotenes plus chlorophyll A and E. Oil or leucogen. Reserve food, 2 flagella of unequal length for locomotion. Cruciferous carotene, fucoxanthine, leucine plus chlorophyll A. Leucocin, rarely oil. Flagella when present, 1 or 3. Bracillariophyceae, diatoxanthine, diadenoxanthine, fucoxanthine plus chlorophyll A and E. Oil and volute and reserve food material, flagella absent. Cryptophyceae, chlorophyll A and C, carotenes and xanthophylls. Starch, 2 unequal flagella at interior end. Diaphyceae, Dinophyceae, chlorophyll A and C, xanthophylls, diadenoxanthine, dinoxanthine, all in starch. Flagella 2, lateral in position. Chloromonadinae, chlorophylls, xanthophylls, fatty substance oils. Flagella 2, bicolor, superbical. Euglenophysceae, chlorophyll A and B carotenes. Paramylum, a starch-like substance, but negative to iodine test. Number variable in Euglena. Fucophyceae, fucoxanthine, flavoxanthine, beta-carotene, and chlorophyll A and C. Laminarin, mannitol, and gametes, flagella 2, unequal and lateral in position. Rhodophyceae, which has phycoerythins and phycocyanin, chlorophyll A and D, and Floridian starch is reserve material. Absent flagellae and Cyanophyceae, phycocyanin, phycoerythrin, and chlorophyllus. Cyanophycean starch is reserve material and absent flagellae. The next page we talk of habitat, where we talk of the place where they occur, place of occurrence of algae, right? Found in mud, exhibit shadow. Found at the banks of lakes or ponds, example Rivullaria, Spirogyra. Found in high temperatures. Oscillatoria, brewing. Found in very low temperatures and snow, providing different colors to snow. Red snow is caused by Chlamydomonas nivalis. Green snow with yellow studensis. Black snow with Clorella nivalis. Epiphytic algae, Edgonium. bulbocete. Epizoic algae is Chlorophora or snail. Endozoic algae is Clorella. Parasitic Cephaloris brescens. Terrestrial Flagella tuberosa. Cryptophytic noxstock. Marine Fucus laminaria. Halophytic Chlamydomonas from Berge. And symbiotic blue-green algae and lichens. The general characteristics: algae are mostly found in freshwater as well as saltwater. The plant body is a simple thallus consisting of parenchyma cells as tissues, given in the flowchart. Filamentous forms may be branched or unbranched, free-floating, or attached to the substratum. The cell which is attached to the substratum is called holdfast. The body of multicellular algae ranges from small colonial Volvox to largest like macrocystis, having a length of several hundred feet. The cell wall is usually made up of cellulose. The reservoir material is in the form of starch mainly. Large marine algae and generally known as seaweeds or kelps. Algae lack vascular differentiation. Sex organs are usually unicellular and non-jacketed. Dominant plant phase in algae is gametophyte, sporophyte, and gametophytic stages are independent. Most of the algae are subautotrophic. And the shape of chloroplast is variable in different algae. These are cup-shaped in Volvox, girdle-shaped in Ulothrix, ribbon-shaped in Spirogyra, reticulate in Edygonium, and stellate in Zygnemia. All kinds of reproduction, vegetative, asexual, and sexual reproduction are found in algae. Vegetative reproduction occurs through fragmentation and fission, homogonia, tubers, spawns, buds, etc. This is a small table of the same. We have the range of vegetative thallus. Unicellular, multicellular, motile, non-motile, and you have colonial and filamentous, right? In unicellular motile, you have Chlorophyceae, Dinophyceae, Euglena. In non-motile, absence of flagella, you have Synophyceae, right? Let's check the table otherwise. Take a good screenshot of this, try to take a print out if you can, and it should be pretty helpful. On a multicellular, you have colonial and filamentous. Then you have unbranched and branched. And asexual reproduction occurs through zoospores, hypnospores, echinates, endospores or cysts, etc. Asexual reproduction occurs in favorable condition by mitospore. Under unfavorable conditions, algae reproduces sexually. Depending on the size of gametes, sexual reproduction is of two types: isogamous and heterogamous. Anisogamous, oogamous. Isogamy occurs commonly in unicellular algae, example Ulothrix. Here, the male and female gametes are morphologically similar but differ in physiology. Anisogamy is the fusion of gametes where male gametes are comparatively smaller in size and more active than female gametes, which are larger and sluggish. For example, Chlamydomonas browsei. And oogamy is the most advanced type of sexual reproduction. Here, the male gametes are motile and formed in large numbers, whereas female gametes are non-motile and bigger in size. Male gametes are produced in antheridium. And whereas female gametes are produced in oogonium. Some special complex type of reproductive bodies found in Rhodophyceae are called spermatium and carpogonium. Water is a suitable medium for the fusion of gametes during sexual reproduction. Fusion of male and female gametes occur and zygote is formed. Salient features of some selected classes: Chlorophyceae, green algae. Plants, freshwater or marine. The structure is various: unicellular motile, Chlamydomonas non-motile, Clorella colonial, Volvox hydrodictin, and parenchymatous ova. Cenocyte is Volvox. Cell wall is composed of cellulose, its chief pigments, chlorophylls, AB, alpha, beta, and gamma. Carotenes, lycopene, lutein, galactxanthin. Reserve food, starch, and oils. Asexual reproduction by zoospores, aplanospores, and hypnospores. Male and female gametes flagellates. Identical sexual reproduction, isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous. For example, Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra. The next will be Xanthophyceae, which are yellow-green algae. Plants generally have fresh water. Forms unicell to simple filamentous. Chief pigments: chlorophyll A, E, beta-carotene, xanthine, and neoxanthine. Reserve food: chrysolaminarin and oils. Zoospore formation occurs. Male gametes flagellate. Flagella non-identical, unequal. Sexual reproduction: isogamy, anisogamy, or oogamous. Purification, brown algae. Plants marine except few. The body is differentiated into three parts: holdfast, type, and lamina. They have holdfasts for attachment, but sargassum and fucus become free-floating. North Atlantic Ocean is often called Sargasso Sea because they abundantly grow the Gulf weed or sargassum. Some brown algae are very large. They are called tree of sea or kelps. Depending upon the size, kelps are differentiated into giant kelps, for example, Macrocystis, 40 to 60 m, Neurocystis, 20 to 30 m, and small kelps. Several contain cellulose and phycocolloids, alginic acid. Asexual reproduction by fragmentation and spores. Cells showing eukaryotic organization. Chief pigments: chlorophyll A and C, beta-carotene, flucoxanthin. For brown color, lutein, xanthine, diazoxanthin. Reserve food: laminarin, mannitol, fats, and oils. Male gametes flagellate, unequal, tinsel, and whiplash lateral. Sexual reproduction: isogamy, anisogamy, or oogamous. Life cycle is diplohaploidic, diplohaplontic. For example, Dictyora or diplontic. For example, fucus and sargassum, laminar, etc. And the next will be Rhodophyceae, red algae. Plants generally marine. The plants are simple, filamentous to attaining complexity of structure. Some cells show protoplasmic or pit connections. Chief pigments: chlorophyll A and D, alpha, beta, carotene, lutein, xanthine, fucoxanthin, mexoxanthin, R-phycoerythrin, R-phycocyanin, and allophycocyanin. Right here, next page, we talk of sexual reproduction involving fusion of two compatible gametes. Life cycle is haploontic. And Ulothrix, which is an unbranched filamentous green algae of fresh aerated waters, which is covered by a thin sheath of mucilage. Lowermost cell is colorless and functions as holdfast. Cell wall consists of two layers. Inner layer is made up of cellulose, and outer layer is mostly made up of protopectin, and which is insoluble in water. Due to the presence of protopectin, Ulothrix filaments appear as wet threads. Asexual reproduction occurs through filamentous, through fragmentation, zoospores, palmella stage, aplanospores, hypnospores, and actinides. Only green cells take part in reproduction. Sexual reproduction occurs through isogamy, fusion of similar gametes. Gametes are biflagellate and produced like zoospores. The fusion product is diploid zygote, which forms a resting diploid zygospore. Under favorable conditions, meiosis occurs in the zygospore. Life cycle is haplontic, as dominant phase in life cycle is haplophase N, and diploid phase is represented only by zygote or zygospore, which undergoes meiosis, reduction, division, and its germination. Volvox is a freshwater colonial algae, first observed by Leeuwenhoek in 1700. Volvox is a small hollow green ball, 0.5 to 2.5 diameter, which is popularly called rolling ball. The algae rotates on its axis during swimming. Reproduction is both asexual and sexual. The reproductive cells or gonidia usually occur in the posterior part. Asexual reproduction occurs through the formation of daughter colonies. Each gonidium can form a daughter colony. Sexual reproduction is oogamous. Colonies may be monoecious or dioecious. Monoecious or dioecious. In monoecious forms, the male and female sex cells mature at different times. Clorella is a non-motile, non-flagellated unicellular green algae which occur in diverse aquatic habitats, probably rich in organic matter. Wall contains cellulose. It is three-layered. Outer layer may have pollen-like material. Sexual reproduction is not known. Asexual reproduction occurs through oospores. Here, divisions of the parent protoplast forms 2 to 3 daughter protoplasts, each of which develops a wall and gets transformed into an autospore. Chlorella can be used as food because it is rich in proteins, 50% carbohydrates, 20% vitamins A, C, K, B1, B2, and B12, and minerals. It contains an antibiotic, chlorelin, but can also be used, cause allergic asthma. Chlorella is used as experiment plant for physiological records. It is an important component of sewage oxidation tanks, which chlorella. Spirogyra. This is an unbranched filamentous green algae of stagnant freshwaters which forms floating masses called pond scum. Spirogyra is also called pond silk, water silk, or mermaid's tresses. White color is due to phycoerythrin, reserve food, fluorine starch, galactine SO4 polymer, no zoospore formation, male gametes non-flagellate, sexual reproduction by special type oogamy, life cycle, haplobiontic or diplobionic, example branchiospermum, batrachospermum, and gelidium. Myxophyceae, Cyanophyceae, blue-green algae, plants generally freshwater. And a few forms marine, forms unicellular to filamentous, cell wall made up of mucopeptide, possess some specialized cells called heterocysts, cells showing prokaryotic organization, chief pigments chlorophyll A, beta carotenes, lutein, xanthophyll, oxaloxanthine, C, allophycocyanin, reserve food, Cyanophyceae starch, glycogen, and Cyanophycin protein. No zoospore formation, no flagellate bodies, no sexual reproduction, example nostoc, oscillatoria, and abena. Life cycle patterns found in algae. It is recurrent morphological and cytological phases in an organism that occur in each individual from its birth to death. It is the following types: haplobiontic, diplobiontic, and triplobiontic. Haplobiontic, only one somatic phase is present. It is of two types, haplontic and diplontic. Haplontic is a single somatic phase which is haploid. Diploid condition is present only in zygote or zygospore where meiosis occurs to produce haploid condition again. Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas, Ulothrix, alternation of generations is absent. Diploidic is a single somatic phase which is diploid. Haploid content occurs in gametes formed through meiosis, which are fused to restore diploid state. For example, Cladophora, Glomerata, Bryopsis, Fucus, Saga, Sagacium. Alternation of gamete generations is absent. Diplobiontic, two somatic phases are present in the life history. Diplohaplontic and haplohaplontic. In diplohaplontic, both haploid gametophytic and diploid sporophytic somatic phases occur in the life history. There's two subtypes. Isomorphic or monomorphic diplohaplontic, gametophytic and sporophytic phases are morphologically similar, though cytologically they are haploid and diploid respectively. For example, Dictyota, the ova, that is a homorphic, isomorphic or homologous alternation or generations. Heteromorphic or dimorphic diplohaplontic. Haploid and diploid phases are morphologically dissimilar. One of them is dominant, a heterologous or heteromorphic alternation of generations occur. For example, bryophytes, gametophytes dominant, and pteridophytes, sporophytes dominant. Haploplontic, only haploid cytological stage is present in two somatic phases. For example, Porphyra, dimorphic haplontic, haplobiontic, or diphasic haplohaplontic. And triplobiontic, three somatic phases occur. Haploplontic, three haploid phases occur in the life history. Diploidihaplontic, triphasic or trimorphic life history with two diploid and one haploid stage. Example, Polysophonia. Some important examples are Chlamydomonas, which is a pre-living aquatic unicellular and flatulate green alga, 10 to 30 micrometers. That occurs to ammonium-rich fresh water in ammonium-rich fresh water. Excessive growth of Chlamydomonas may impart green color to water. Cell wall does not contain cellulose, instead glycoprotein is present. Internally, the algae contains a single nucleus, two contractile locules for osmoregulation and excretion, a basin or cup-shaped chloroplast with a red eye spot or stigma, and a paranoid for change or storage of starch. Asexual reproduction occurs through a zoospore formation, bimellar stage, implanospores, and bipnospores. Bimellar stage is produced in response to toxic chemicals and unfavorable water conditions. Here the cells lose flagella and close themselves in mucilage. They, however, continue to grow and divide on being flooded with water or removal of toxic chemicals. The mucilage dissolves and each cell forms a flagellate individual. Softening and subsequent dissolution in middle lamina of the septa due to sudden change in temperature and acidity of water. Normally, asexual reproduction is absent in Spirogyra. It takes place only in some species. It is a three-type: implanospores, zygospores, sparthenospores, and aconates. Sexual reproduction takes place towards the end of the growing season, usually in the late spring. It commences when the flagella have matured and have stored sufficient food. The external condition which favor the process are nitrogen deficiency, change in pH of the aquatic medium on alkaline side. The sexual reproduction of Spirogyra is called conjugation. It involves the fusion of two morphologically identical but physiologically dissimilar non-cellular gametes. And fusion of these gametes takes place by the following two methods: scalariform conjugation and lateral conjugation. Scalar from conjugation, both monoecious and dioecious, takes place during the night and between the recently divided cells of the conjugating filaments. The conjugation tube between two filaments looks like a ladder through which gametes from one of the gametangent passes through to fuse with the passive gamete of another filament. The gametes are formed singly, and both active and passive gametes are considered male and female gametes respectively. The fusion of both kinds of gametes with each other results in the formation of zygospore. Lateral conjugation in monoecious species takes place between two nearest cells of the same filaments. Both male and female gametes are found in the same filament. It is of two types, lateral indirect conjugation and direct lateral conjugation. The life cycle in Spirogyra is haplodontic, as dominant phase in life cycle is haploid and diploid phase is represented by only zygospore, and it undergoes early or meiosis, zygotic meiosis. Economic importance of algae. Beneficial aspects: algae as food and fodder. Seaweeds, especially brown algae, are used as food for domestic animals in different parts of the world, and their wide-scale usage centers in countries like Norway, Scotland, France, Great Britain, Scandinavia, America, New Zealand, etc. Pelvetta canaliculata is used as food for young livestock in Sewage. Focus and laminaria are eaten by cattle in Scotland and Ireland. Macrocystis, ap, SPP, and other kelps, being rich in vitamin A and E, are served as cattle fodder. The marine algae are of considerable importance as food. They are often mixed with the rice and fish and served as base for soups. Let's pray. Condiments and eaten alone as salads. The edible forms, are called limo in Hawaii, sao in China, rimo in Tahiti. Chlorella is rich in protein and carbohydrates. Spirulina plantensis is one of the richest sources of proteins, containing 40 to 50% crude protein on a dry wet basis, which in a favorable condition may reach up to 70%. The mucoprotein constituents of cell wall are easy to digest and thus make spirulina a good item for both human beings and animals. Algae serves primary food for fishes and other small aquatic animals. Such algae may be both a plankton or an attached form of the sea, as well as in freshwater. Freshwater lakes and ponds: Eutagonium, Spirogyra, Macrospora, Ulothrix, Cladophora, Pithophora, etc., so directly as fish water. Algae in industries: arsenic acid derivatives extracted from the members of Phyophytes such as Laminaria, Acephalum, Macrocystis, Eclonia, Leysonia, and Darbilia or Darbilia. KORAH-BIOTECH is the most famous carbohydrate mucilage named after Irish village Carrageenan. The gelatinous carbohydrates are variously used with puddings, eaten with milk, or mixed with fruit and even in ice cream. It is used as a clearing agent in beer preparation. It is extracted from red algae Chondrus crispus, Irish moss, and to a lesser extent from Gigartina spp. So that's the end of this chapter on algae. We'll have a Q&A in the next class, right? Bye. Thank you.